Have you talked to anybody who's had an NDE? Sometimes they're not good, though. We just have to point that out. I mean, 1 in 9 apparently is hellish. I'm not sure if that's true, but I have heard it from an expert. So you don't always want to have an NDE, but what's great about them is once you've had a good NDE, you never fear death ever again. That's just the way it is.
That's what I've read. I've read a number of books on near-death experiences. And the thing about the music is they say that the music is so beautiful, even though the music we have here in this world can be, just the most beautiful, amazing thing you've ever heard. It's nothing compared to what you hear over there.
Because you're hearing it with your mind hearing. If you were born deaf, if you were born without eardrums, you'll be able to hear during a near-death experience or after death. I mean, it's wonderful and beautiful. People who are born without eyes can see just fine when they're having a near-death experience. So all of these things, if everybody knew all of these things, no one would ever fear death again. I should just mention, too, that when I had my second experience of light, I was 20, and I saw the light, I heard the voice, but there was also music the second time. But it was beautiful. But it was extraordinary because it sounded like a million silver bells, but playing a tune, and it was overwhelmingly beautiful. I just heard a snippet of it. So I've had a little bit of hearing of what it's like when you're hearing. I think of it as the music of the spheres.
You're one of the fortunate ones to be able to have, had a taste of that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I've been basically my whole life was designed for me to be doing the work I'm doing now. So that gave me these teasers, which I have spent the rest of my life pursuing. So at what age should kids start playing music? I mean, is there an ideal time?
I think it actually depends both on the parent and child. But I would say, if a child shows an interest, I think it's important personally to maybe take your child to a music and movement group similar to that of Music Together programs, music and play with Gymboree, Kinder Music, because a lot of that is an introduction to music in their life, outside of the home. Yes. And then as, once they have that experience, I feel like probably 4 years old would be, even though it's kind of early, I think it might be a good idea to start introducing instruments like a petting zoo. There is a lot of events, that are held, at all different times of the year, like music stores. They'll have instrument petting zoos where you can come in and try out different instruments. Of course, them being 4 years old and trying it out as opposed to them being 6 or 7, it's going to be different. But if your child is drawn to a particular instrument, I would say, why not? Why not try them with that?
Yes. Well, it's wonderful the music stores will let you do that. But you also have Kids Music Day. What is Kids Music Day?
So Kids Music Day is one of the 2 music holidays that my awesome husband, Vincent, and I founded a couple of years ago as part of our Keep Music Alive mission. And Kids Music Day is all about promoting the value of music for children and encouraging more children to learn to play an instrument in some shape, way, or form. And as part of Kids Music Day, we partner with hundreds and hundreds of different music schools, music stores, organizations, private instructors to hold events that celebrate or benefit children playing music. And some of those events include instrument petting zoos, where children can come and try out numerous different types of musical instruments. And I think it's great because, a child can go in and say, I've always wanted to learn to play the drums. Well, here they go. There's instructors
Wonderful.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, drums are also musical too. I didn't realize that until recently, but yeah, apparently drums are one of the most ancient musical instruments, and they can be also wonderful instruments to play. We're talking about 88 plus ways music can change your life. Tell us what that's about. What's the book about, Joann?
So 88 plus ways music can change your life. And just real quick on the title, the 88 plus is representative of the 88 keys on the piano, and the plus is 88 plus that many stories. So there's over 100 short inspirational stories about how music affected people's lives from around the world, from everyday people to celebrities. And we were, very fortunate to have received so many amazing stories. And with the book, to help us with music education, we actually donate 50% of the proceeds to music education to other organizations and foundations that are putting music instruments and instruction into schools and communities in need.
Is that what your foundation does, essentially, is to promote music teaching, promote music education?
Yes.
That's the foundation is called Keep Music Alive, and we're going to give contact information in just a couple of minutes. What's Teach Music Week? Is that different from Kids Music Day?
Slightly. So we actually partner with, again, like we do with Kids Music Day, hundreds and hundreds of music schools, stores, and organizations around the world to give free music lessons, and not just to kids, but to adults as well, because, part of our goal is to get more people enjoying learning how to play music and reaping the benefits of learning how to play an instrument. And, there's so many benefits to it, such as, the academic part of it, if you're a student, also the happiness that it brings you, right? When you've accomplished something and then you can play for other people. So yes. Teach Music Week is all about, getting more people to play an instrument and, being happy from it.
Wow. So do you have a website where you talk about all of this? What would be your website for this?
Okay, so for Kids Music Day and for Teach Music Week, they all fall under keepmusicalive.org.
Okay, simple. Keepmusicalive.org. It's the same. It's good that you got your own org, because a lot of people are trying now, and almost everything's taken. But isn't that beautiful? Again, as always, if for some reason you're driving, you can't write that down, just send me an email through robertagrimes.com, and I'll make sure you get to the right place. Vincent also writes and sings customized love songs, right?
He
does. Still do that? Oh my goodness, he's so much fun. He really is. So
yeah, he does. Not as often as he'd like to, because Keep Music Alive keeps him really busy.
Sure, yeah, I'm sure. But he is such, you have to know him. He's such a delightful person, and he's very serious about helping people really express their love in music. And he will write the song and sing it for you, which I think is just a beautiful thing. I mean, if it's your 30th or 40th wedding anniversary, what a better gift. My husband would never do that, by the way. We've just done 46 years, and I'm sure that's the last thing this time.
Congratulations.
But, thank you. Yeah, I mean, they said it wouldn't last. For a long time, I thought they were right, but apparently, no, it has lasted this long. So can you tell us like a story from the book? What are these? These are stories about how music helped people or inspired people?
Yes. There's, I'll tell you, there's so many of them. I wish I could just sit here and read them to you, because there's so many beautiful stories. Some of the stories will have you cracking up laughing. And then there's the other stories that make you cry, and they're the ones, that give you the goosebumps. And it's like, wow, that was powerful. And I think one that I'd like to share with you is a story. And if anyone wants to look up some of the stories, they can actually do that on Amazon and read right from the book, right on Amazon.
Right,
and,
that's great.
Yeah, because it has one of those little look inside features, so you can read some of the stories.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah, so there's one. It's called Remembering You Today. And it's about this fellow. He's a musician. His name is Adam Ezra. He travels all over the country. He's like folky rock kind of music. Very talented. And so he was. His band was touring through like Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and one of his fans. A friend of one of the fans said, "Hey, we saw you guys were coming through. One of your biggest fans She's actually dying of cancer. And she really wanted to come out to your show, but she's just not well. And she had gone to a lot of his shows because he plays all year round. And she had been to so many of his shows, and he never even had met her. But, he was like, yeah, we're on our way back. We're finishing up this leg of the tour. So he actually had his band members drop him off at this lady's house who he had never even met before. And so he went to this lady's house. He was there for 6 hours.
Oh, my. Well, what a wonderful man. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. He was like, if my music means that much to her, who am I to deny her?
Yes.
So
isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, he went there. She was not well. She was upstairs in a hospital bed. She had not been doing well. And, he went in there and he just sat down. And then, when she opened up her eyes, and he sat there until she opened up her eyes. And, when she opened up her eyes, he was like, hi, and, would you like me to play you a song? And she just like the biggest smile, someone who had not been well. But yet this person was here and they were going to sing songs for her. So
isn't that amazing? Yes.
Yeah. So he was like, do you want me to play this song? Do you want me to play that song? And he did. And he just made her so happy. And then, it really raised her life condition. She was able to have some strength in her because of the music that Adam was singing to her. So she says, I actually feel like I have some strength right now and I'd like to go downstairs. So her husband, Bruce, and a friend, they carried her downstairs and they all sat around on the sofa and sang and reminisced and told stories and all kinds of amazing things. And she actually, she even started to develop an appetite, which she had not been eating. So, they were singing and playing and eating and just having a really beautiful time together. And so he felt like that was like the most precious 6 hours, that he had spent. Well, he went back to Massachusetts and found out later that week that she had passed away.
Oh, but what a gift. What a beautiful gift.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What it meant to her and then what he got from it. He's like, the gift was for me.
Yes.
He says it was for her, but it was also for me. What I was able to experience, he says it's incredible. That's not something that happens to you every day.
No, that is beautiful. Mm-hmm. I think that's a wonderful way to sum up the power of music. It brings people together. They weren't strangers. The music made them part of one family. And what a beautiful thing to do for someone who is dying. Mm-hmm. And sadly, we've come to the end of our time. But Joann, it has been so good to have you here. We'll have you and Vincent back, maybe together next time.
Sure.
To tell more stories about music.
We'd love to be back.
Thank you so much for coming. And everyone, as you know, this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. I am so glad you could be with us today. Never forget that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began, you never will end. And when you really get what that means, believe me, it changes everything in your life for the better. Next week, our guest is going to be Karen Anderson. Karen is a prominent animal communicator, and she'll be telling us about the afterlives of our beloved companion animals. A few years ago, as I think many of you know, I wrote a blog post called Pets in the Afterlife, and Google found it, and now it comes up in a lot of searches. So I hear almost every day, sometimes several times a day, from people who have just lost a beloved pet. And I'm happy to be able to assure you, as I assure them, that on this one fact, the evidence is clear. Every animal you ever have loved is waiting for you now, young, healthy, and in a beautiful eternal reality where love never ends, and they'll be all over you. And if you've had a lot of dogs or cats, Katie, bar the door, because your human friends will not be able to get near you. Karen has helped many people connect with their pets, and she's going to talk about what she has learned about the afterlife for your beloved animals. So basically, they help us make heaven even more heavenly, the fact that your little friends are going to be there for you. Please join us next week. This week, we've been speaking with Joann Pierdomenico. One of the things I love, as I say, is sharing Seek Reality with so many people who have visions, gifts, missions of their own. And Vincent and Joann are a wonderful example of that. If they're ambassadors for music, and if ever anything needed ambassadors right now, it's music. So I hope you'll think about reading her book just for the uplifting stories in it. 88 Plus Ways Music Can Change Your Life. And you might think about going to her website too and